Hey, what up, though? What up, y'all? Hey, welcome to my new show. This is Yo Hero. This is like a little spin-off of what we doing over on Yo Retro, where we hitting the retro games with my man Chaotic VPR. But over here, we really hitting the superhero comic book films and all that good stuff. So with no further ado, I want to go ahead and introduce my ace boom, aka smelling like your girl perfume, aka left some baby gravy inside of her womb, aka masked up with no costume, aka we go back like Saturday morning cartoons, aka knick knack patty whack used to sling crack allegedly. My best friend Mac. What up, though? Introduce yourself, bro, to the
What up?
world, bro. They need to know
What up,
what's up,
everybody?
homie.
What up, everybody?
Man, you know what
What
we
up,
do, bro.
everybody?
Yeah, man. So,
How
this
everybody
this
doing out there?
this one of my best friends, and he's also from Ohio, and we're in crime, fresh out the jungle, right? Smelling like Funkle, right? The man from Skunkle, aka the comic book historian, also with an accordion, my man Uncle Bird up in the house. What up, though, bro? What up? What
Greetings and
up? What up?
salutations, my friends.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming through, and this dude, he's the one that put me on the comic books. Like, I was reading comic books and drawing comic book characters with him when we were kids. So yeah. What's up, Dr. Torque? Dr. Torque in the house. Penny K in the house. Yeah, that's what's up, Dr. Torque. I'm doing good, bro. Appreciate you coming through, man. That's what's up. Yeah. So basically, we're gonna talk about all these new movies and different TV series and stuff coming out, comic book stuff. So if y'all want to chat about it, hop in the chat. Say what's up if you want to get a shout out. That's what's up. So first subject we got right here is this Lantern show that came out. You know, and apparently this is gonna be a HBO Max show. I don't know if y'all knew that.
Actually, I thought it was just on regular HBO. I think it started off as HBO Max.
That could be correct. I don't know if they updated it. But this got Kyle Chandler, as Hal Jordan and Aaron Pierre as Hal Stewart. What you think about that, Mac? Buddy frozen? Tell me he ain't frozen.
Oh,
Mac,
he's freezing up.
he just moved. No thoughts, Mac? All right. I don't know. You good? Oh, he lagging. Anyhow,
Yeah.
what you think about this Lantern show? All right, I'll get back to you.
All
You
right.
asking me, bro?
Yeah, I'm asking you, bro.
You asking Bird, right? You know.
No,
No,
you're
we
Mac.
were asking you.
You were saying something
He
about
asking who?
oh my lord. On to the next guest. Bird,
Yeah,
Bird, what you think about it?
I don't know. The premise for the show just doesn't fit the Lanterns. It's supposed to be some kind of detective thing, murder thing. Um, Not excited about that. I guess we'll wait and see. I mean,
You
come on,
so
Lanterns are supposed to be out in space, bro.
you want
Hey,
him out you want him out of space like Ryan Reynolds again?
much better than them solving murders.
I mean, we don't know. We ain't seen it yet, but
Well, that's what I
Yeah,
heard the
that's true.
premise of.
I mean,
They're actually doing this after they canceled it in 2022 when they were going to actually use Guy Gardner and Alan Scott for it. But I don't know what the premise of that show actually was.
okay,
So
okay.
it's kind
It
of a
was going to
second
be in space.
iteration of it.
Was it going to be in
But
space?
I don't know. That's what I said. I mean, I just read. I kind of remember it, but yeah, I think it was just supposed to be like regular lanterns.
Hmm. Matt got no thoughts on it.
No, no, not really.
What was you saying
Like
about what was you saying about Jon Stewart though backstage?
oh, he should be darker. He's too light. The actor that the guy used to, he should be darker. That's
You're
just how I
wild.
personally feel.
You're wild for that. So you hating on the light skin?
No, I'm not hating. You know what I'm saying? Per se, I'm just saying like I've never seen him in the comics like they got a boy on the screen.
Yo, that's funny though. All right, so next subject we got is the Ironman 3000 show. Why don't you tell them about that, Bert?
Oh, I don't know much about it. I know they kind of canceled it. I believe they were going to come out with it being like Tony Stark's daughter in the future, where she does all the same shit he does, races cars and tinkers on armor and saves the world. So
Yeah. So this was planned shortly after Endgame, and it was going to be an animated series based on the whole "I Love You 3000" moment, where Tony Stark's daughter grew up and kind of took on, the tech world that Tony had, and this is like, I guess, render art of Pepper Potts, an older Pepper Potts, but yeah, it's semi interesting to me. I guess it looks kind of cool. I don't know, like they got all these like a female vision, and you know,
weird punk Ultron and stuff.
yeah, there was people speculating like this guy could potentially be Red Guardian, but nobody's like sure who he would be. Like they might have had a bunch of random characters.
Yeah.
It looked like it was gonna take inspiration from the Iron Man 2 scene where he was racing the car, Tony Stark.
Well, I know she was going to do almost like the same stuff he was doing, like in the movies. Just kind of having her own spin on it.
Yeah, like this slide here, this basically like the names on the side, Goliath, Kickstart, these was like racers, and this is an announcer like breaking down the race and a bunch of live chat on the side of him. And
Well, social media, yeah. I know.
yeah, so that's likely the names of some of
Brain
the characters.
eater.
Yeah, that's likely the name of some of the characters we just seen in the render art. The one on the left here is probably Tony Stark's daughter. And then that looks like,
Vision,
maybe,
and then
yeah, a female vision.
Probably with his kid.
War Machine. I don't know.
I don't know, potentially Graviton, one of these names on the left, Kickstar. Might be
Oh,
Kickstar.
yeah, but both of them have Kickstar on their cars,
Yeah,
whereas she has
that's
3,000.
yeah, that's true. Yeah. You got this like female Ultron looking
Yeah, that's what I
one
was
on the
saying
right.
before.
Yeah. Iron Man 3000. And you can see Tony Stark's little robot droid over here on the right.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. I
Yeah.
was just about to say that. That's the
And
robot Tony was using.
there's people speculating dude cleaning her car with his hand on the hood might be the kid from Iron Man 3. The,
Almost got
Makes
a
sense.
speed racer vibe to it, though. I mean, some of it's kind of futuristic, but it's kind of retro in other aspects.
yeah. Yeah, it does have a little speed racer kind of vibe. So what was interesting about this picture to me is it's hard to see for us backstage, but the viewers could probably see it a little better. In her rear view mirror, there's a face in there, like a little AI face. It was probably her Jarvis or Friday for Tony. because you could see her whole Iron Man helmet thing going on the windshield of her car. So she's not in the Iron Man armor.
But maybe
And
the armor's coming after her.
but if you look closely at the face, it looks like an evil face under, like the mask is half broken off, and there's an evil eye under and face under there. So I like, this is my favorite out all the slides, you know. So yeah, retort, yeah. So and this Mac, you were saying this wasn't, these guys weren't in Brave New World.
No, they were not.
Yeah.
None of them were.
And yeah, the whole Serpent Society, I don't even get why they kind of went with the John Carlos being one of them. It's kind of weird to me. I don't know. Because he didn't look like the Marvel Comics character at all or have any kind of those vibes. In this picture, if you look at these people, like they all got kind of like reptilian kind of tattoos.
Yeah.
Some kind of
Yeah,
weird.
I don't remember much from the comics, so I don't know if they. I think some of them did, but I think most of them were reptilian looking, kind of, or had a reptilian looking costume.
So they're called the Serpent Society because they
All
got
snake
reptilian
type
tattoos.
names. I don't know.
No.
Or have.
Okay.
Yeah, because I mean, there were all kinds of different snake names. There's like 8 of them. I mean, in the comic book, 8 to 10 of them, I think, or something. There's like a lot of them.
Yeah. I could show you. Serpent
So that's
Society.
just, they were supposed to all be in the movie, but only the one dude on the end was in the movie, right?
So this is Serpent Society in the comics.
Yeah, blew that picture up a little bit.
I mean, I did on my screen. I don't know why it's not showing on yours.
It's just more of the Google page than actually the image.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they're kind of some. They remind me of like some. What was the one dude in GI Joe, Serpentor or something with the
Oh yeah, so Serpentor
cobra head?
he was the emperor, man. They took all the like greatest conquerors and put them into one body.
Yeah.
Took out Cobra commanders and get them out of here.
So, and this is rendered art of Jocasta, I guess, and that's like the female Ultron. And I guess when Tony Stark, when you remember when he had to like replace Jarvis or something with Friday, and he was grabbing like the little USB sticks, and I guess Jocasta was written on one of them too. So there's like an Easter egg for that even in the MCU currently. So she could be like Ultron's backup or who brings them back online. No telling.
Right.
I wonder if this will come up in the Vision Quest series because they were talking about doing that on Disney Plus too.
All
The
right,
Vision
all right.
Quest series?
Yeah, they're still supposed to be doing that, and we'll talk about that a little bit later too on one of these slides. But I don't know. Y'all got any thoughts on Jocasta? Y'all heard of her? Or y'all familiar?
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of familiar.
I mean,
Yeah, I really didn't say. I mean, I think they have a cool design for it and everything like that. But I mean, until we see it in action, I
yeah.
mean, it's just, yeah, you know, it's like, eh.
Mac?
No, I really don't have nothing to say about her.
Her eyes are up there, Mac. All right.
I know.
That's all you're
So
looking
you saying
at.
I'm looking at her robot?
Yeah,
That is
that's
crazy.
what I was saying. That's exactly what I was saying. Yeah, so and then now these is just some Fantastic Four renders that came out. These is all like Marvel leaks basically. So this is different artist renderings of Sue Storm with Franklin Richards. And we got another one, a little close up of that same photo, and then one with her. It looks like saving Franklin Richards almost from falling off the couch, fighting off some feds.
Just use of her invisibility force field thing. Using concepts, will they be scenes? We'll see.
It's interesting. That baby looks like he's wearing a little Spider-Man outfit, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like some
And
Spidey
he like
PJs.
push-ups. Hmm?
I bet he could. That's Franklin Richards right there. But yeah, this is where it looked like she's basically saving him from falling off the couch. So I don't know if these are
Why so many,
spoilers or
why
if
so
this
many
just
force fields?
I don't
Like,
know.
wouldn't one be enough?
Yeah, but I think it's supposed to relay the motion that she took him in that direction to put him back around.
Yeah, because it's just a
It's
photo.
just concept art, I mean, of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this shot's pretty cool. It shows a little bit of re-retros tech and like the little baby stroller kind of.
Got Herbie up in there.
That stroller's got some little retro. It's like anti-gravity tech.
Yeah, but it almost
Hmm.
it almost looks like they had that hover vehicle or whatever, like, and it almost has that kind of feel to it, that they would be flying around in a
Bird, Herbie's the
Fantastic Four
robot.
mobile.
Who's Herbie? The robot.
Herbie's the robot right in front of Reed on the top picture.
Herbie.
He
Yeah.
was from the animated series. He actually wasn't even
That's
like in the
what
comics,
I was
but
asking. Bro, relax.
Wow.
That's what I was asking you. He was from
Yeah.
what?
I don't know. I didn't hear none of you say you were lagging. He was just saying he's from the animated series.
yeah, I think in the '70s they had an animated series that they brought him in, and I guess he was pretty popular. And they might have brought him to the comic books, but I didn't follow him at that point in time.
Yeah. I think he was in a couple books, but it's different iterations of the Fantastic Four, so he's not in all of them. And then
I think that was one of those nostalgia things they brought back just to kind of,
I like that art of the thing down there. What y'all think of the way they got the thing looking?
yeah, looks all
Pause.
right. I mean, the cloud
Pause.
run time.
Pause. No thoughts, Mac? That's what we're going with? All right. And then we got some renders of the Silver Surfer. Female Silver Surfer. Fantastic Four comes out in July. Dr. Tor. Which I'm kind of super hype about that. Yeah. What you think about this female Silver Surfer, y'all?
Well, we call her Nora Rad. I don't know Silver Surfer's wife's name, but I think that's
She
what
looks
we're
pretty powerful.
saying.
No, that's not her name. I forget her name, but
Well, I was just like making because he's Norrin red. I figured Nor just be the easy transition. Looking
Nah,
around with it like,
Penny K says a female Silver Surfer would be dope. That's what's up. Yeah, I think it's a good idea just because like I have a feeling at the end of the multiverse they're basically gonna like soft reboot the MCU to where they can bring back Doctor Doom but recast him, you know, as not as RDJ, and then they can bring back, you know, Silver Surfer, have him be a guy and be Norm Rad, you know, and yeah, so I think this is kind of like their way of using the Silver Surfer without using the Silver Surfer we already know, you know, kind of because the next Silver Surfer will probably have to sign like a 10 film deal, you know.
Right.
Yeah, so
quite a bit.
I mean,
yeah, I mean she looks dope to me. I don't like there's a lot of lines on her body, like the typical MCU kind of costume style, which
Yeah.
I'm not sure about just yet, but I don't know. I'm definitely interested to see a Silver Surfer. I'm not gonna say it. Never mind.
He's a little bit more streamlined there.
Yeah, a little
Detail
bit.
in the body, but she don't have the straight lines.
I mean, I see some of them, but it ain't.
And there's another close up of that Sue pick. Dr. Torque says he's waiting on Howard the Duck. All right.
Yeah.
Y'all describe this shot. What's going on here?
Well, Sue's got her invisible force shields, and she made some kind of raft. It looks like kind of going through some kind of cavern or tunnel, maybe down the river.
Mac, what's going through Thing's head right now?
He looks like he's trying to keep his balance and not fall off, or like he's riding a surfboard. That's what he looked like he's doing. He's trying to keep his balance. He looked like he's trying to like ride a surfboard. That's what it looks like to me.
What's
I
he
mean,
saying?
there's
What's he
almost kind of a. Oh, I'm sorry.
What's he
There's almost
saying?
a kind of image right there in the front where it's like almost like a Doctor Doom ghostly type thing, but it looks like it's almost emanating out of the force shield. You can see like a hooded thing, and just looks kind of weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's he saying to Sue Storm there, Mac?
I don't know. I have no idea. She better be steering it right. I don't know. He's looking like he don't want to be in the water. I don't think he's a big fan of water, being that he's all rock.
I can't swim, you dumb bitch.
So you got know what you're doing.
Rocks don't swim, you dumb bitch.
What is Johnny back there doing, though, is my question. What is he back there doing?
Yeah, he can fly. I don't know what his problem is.
Because that's what I'd have been doing if I was him. But maybe it's too much moisture in there for him to be like, flame on. I don't know. Because it does look like they're in a cave or something, like you said, or
yeah. So I wonder, you know, if we're gonna actually see this shit in the movies, or it's not even gonna be in the movie. You know.
And I think maybe some of it, but you know how a movie is, they kind of cut a lot of that stuff out, they have concept art for it, but just not actually,
He's
do
Dr.
it.
Torque said, turns him in the mud.
Yeah, that's funny. So then we got a slide here. Looks like some I don't know. This is like future world tech, you know, in this Fantastic Four because this movie doesn't take place in the current MCU, so it takes place basically in an
Probably
elseworld.
20, 15 years now.
Well, it's an
20 years.
no, it's
That's
an
another
elseworld,
universe.
yeah, kind of thing. So you know, it's interesting to see how their texts evolve due to Reed Richards and potentially Victor Von Doom living on this planet. Like their intelligence level, even though they're in the 60s, their tech's more advanced than ours in 2025, but it's still
No, of course
retro.
it is.
You notice on the front of that lift
It
thing
says
there, it says
Herbie.
Herbie.
It,
Yep.
it
You got
says
the Reed
Herbie
Richards Corporation.
again. Herbie. What's with this damn name Herbie? They got the
It's the
robot named
robot.
Herbie. They got the. I see
Well,
this.
look at the front of the vehicle. It almost looks like Herbie's face in it. Like he almost transformed, or they put
Yeah,
his brain can go between maybe a lot of their equipment.
Yeah,
Kind of got a Herbie feel to it too. I'm just saying.
he's just
it
saying,
does. What's with this Herbie guy? Oh, look, there he is again in the kitchen doing something strange.
Yeah,
What is he back
this
there doing?
my
Dishes.
Oh, he's got a pie.
yeah, he got a
He's got a
job.
pie.
That's the
They
butler, bro.
yeah,
That's Mr. Fantastic's version of Jarvis. Got him in a robot,
Yeah, yeah.
cooking spaghetti and shit.
Now that looks like the actor that played in Wonder Woman, 1984. Is that the same actor, or am I tripping, or am I just as Mr. Fantastic?
Johnny Storm. Oh,
Mr. Fantastic. That's the dude that played in The Mandalorian.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's what. No, I'm saying, but isn't that the same dude that played the villain in?
It's Pedro Pascal.
Yeah, he does the Corona commercials.
Yeah.
No,
There you
you
go.
let's go. No, you let's go. It's a Corona. That's who that looks like in that
You're right.
picture.
I think you're right. I have no idea. I've never seen I've never seen the commercial. I have no idea. Yeah. This is my favorite pick out the bunch just because it kind of show them chilling, being a family, and that's the kind of vibes I want from this iteration of the Fantastic Four. It looks like they're all having a good time. If you watch the trailer, Reed kind of kicked it off saying that they meet every Sunday at 7, no matter what, for dinner, and that was very telling to me of just like the family vibe they got. And this kind of shows a little bit of that insight to that, that wasn't in the trailer. So I do think we will see this. See them like chowing down, talking shit to each other.
sounds about right.
Yeah, so on to the next subject. So the next subject is these supposed Avengers Doomsday leaks that came out. Now, originally, the whole world was pretty much convinced it was Avengers Doomsday leaks, but right now, everyone's kind of like trying to figure out, are they Avengers Secret Wars leaks? Because we don't know where these pictures are really coming from. They could technically be coming from the movie after Doomsday. Like this could be after Doom wins, and everyone's kind of scattered trying to regroup how they're gonna come back together. So we don't know. Are these Doomsday
So are
leaks?
they doing the Secret Wars before? Are they doing the
Secret?
Yeah.
Secret Wars before they do Doomsday?
No, after.
No. Yeah.
So they are.
I just said that.
He
Thank you
said,
for
"Yeah."
listening.
No wait. So they're doing Doomsday after Secret Wars or before Secret War?
Before.
Okay.
for the third time. Doomsday, then Secret Wars is like the end game of those movies.
Oh, okay.
So what I'm saying is these leaks we're about to show, basically, we don't
They
know
could be for
what
either one.
correct. So these are just some artist renderings. You can kind of see Doctor Doom, and some people were speculating this is Johnny Storm being like flamed out over here, like doused with water in a torture chamber by Doom.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. That looks like that. But that also kind of looks like Doctor Strange is standing there with Doctor Doom to me. Or is that just a guy with the really
You are correct. That is Doctor Strange there on the left, next to Emperor Doom. We don't even know. This doesn't even look like Doctor Doom. It looks like Emperor Doom,
That
which is
looks
even.
like God Emperor Doom when he takes the powers of the Beyonders.
You're correct, and I don't know if he's got that far yet in this picture, but
You'd have to.
it does look like him. And people have speculated next to God Emperor Doom is Sue Storm and her son Franklin Richards. So that's crazy. And then on the far right, people are speculating that that's Yelena Belova, the Black Widow's sister, working for Doom with a prisoner on his knees.
that's
And people aren't sure
Thunderbolts
who.
comes out.
Yeah, it
Go ahead.
comes out. No, yeah, Thunderbolts comes out soon, but and then the prisoner on his knees, people aren't sure who that might be, but the only person that he looks like to me is Hawkeye, but I could be wrong. So,
Yeah, he does.
Don't get quiet now. You talk when I was trying to introduce it.
But it also looks like it's in like back in the days.
Yeah, it's got a Victorian look to it, like medieval time. Yeah. Yeah, but that's the power of God Emperor Doom. He's already created Battle World probably at this time. Where all the superheroes are going to meet up and have this battle. And this is probably part of his kingdom, Latveria.
Yeah, because they're all having all those incursions and everything like that, and he pulled different things from different, multiverses or whatever, and put them all on one like Earth almost.
Well, and then people are pretty certain that's the void where Deadpool and Wolverine were at. But I'm not sure about that, just because like Eliath, they said rules that place, right? And everybody was running from Eliath and Loki, and everybody was running from Eliath and Deadpool and Wolverine except for Cassandra Nova. So I don't know. Maybe Doctor Doom exists there and Eliath can't mess with them. I'm not sure, All right. Well, y'all got nothing to say. I'm gonna move on to the next slide.
Will put past me by a landslide at 2K. What? My bad. Oh shit.
Mac, I know you got thoughts on this.
I do have thoughts. It is definitely Victorian times. Look how they're dressed. But She-Hulk has on too much clothes. I'm just kidding. That is who is that? Who is that other Hulk? What's his name?
I think that's his son. His son Scar they introduced in Daredevil.
That's what I was thinking of.
Or no, She-Hulk series.
Yeah.
Now this has got a couple things kind of tied into it. I mean, if you think about a lot of the Hulk stories, I mean, because Obviously, scars from the when the Illuminati sent him out in space to get rid of him and blew up his mom and
Yeah,
stuff.
that's definitely Planet Hawk because there's a whole bunch of hawks like
It's
in the
not.
background.
It's not Planet Hawk. I'm pretty sure it's a place in Battle World and the Secret Wars comic book called Greenville, I think, or Greenland.
Uh,
Because if you look in the background, there's everyone in the city's Hawks.
Most of them.
yeah,
There's a couple people back there with
no,
some with
yeah.
some
It's in
regular
between
skin.
Scar and She-Hulk. Those are like regular people, but oh yeah,
No,
and way back there, some dude.
they were hinting at a Hulk and Maestro also going at it. So
Well, that's another thing. In the comic books, that area in Secret Wars is run by Maestro, which is an older Hulk.
the
So
Mean Hulk.
this Hulk and She-Hulk and Scar might run into Maestro, another Hulk from another universe from like the future.
Yeah, which is
You
way
think
better
that
than
you think that'll run
these
into the
soft,
World
I
War
hate
Hulk
these
then?
soft ass hawks. I hate all of them. Well, not She-Hulk, but I'm just saying, like, I don't like the other versions of Hawk. I just want
Well, my hope is
World.
that they run into Maestro or somebody and he beats them so bad that we get Savage Hulk back and we get rid of Professor Hulk finally.
Or you get World
Yeah,
War
I'm
Hulk.
tired of that.
Maybe he ends up
He's
killing,
cool.
She-Hulk
Like
and Scar, and he's all just loses it and is angrier than he's ever been.
that's a good idea. That's a good concept, Bird.
Well, if you're going to turn him into World War Hulk, that's what you'd have to do is, kill somebody he cares about.
That'd be a good way. Marvel did end the She-Hulk series. That'd be a good way if she wanted out and they wanted out to get rid of her.
They
But
ended the series like for what? What did they? Did you ever hear why they ended that series?
because people hated it.
Yeah, it
Uh,
kind of got really bad reviews. It
Ev- ev-
wasn't really great. I mean,
Yeah, people hated it, and it cost them a fuck ton of money for the CGI, and they made no money off it. It was not like it went to theaters,
oh, that's crazy. Yeah, that's
So
true.
they had to render Hulk, they had to render her, Then they had other people turning the Hawks in the series, all the special effects, Abomination. They
Yeah,
spent movie budget money on that and didn't make a dime off it in theaters or physical Blu-ray release, DVD, steelbook, digital downloads. It's just sitting there on Disney Plus for free to watch. If you pay your subscription.
the
Dr.
Hawks
Torx,
always get the short end of the stick.
Dr. Torque got a question
People,
for you, Mac.
I don't know. I don't know who put clothes on the Hawk. I don't like it, Dr. Torque. I don't like it at all.
So you
I
like
want
your
the
Hulk?
pure savage.
he likes his Hulk naked.
Yeah, like he was in
No,
Ragnarok.
that is not what I said. That is not what I said. I
Kind of
did not
sounds
say
like
I want my Hawk naked. I was just saying. I was
kind of
not saying
sounds
none of
like
that.
kind of sounds like
The only
that's
one I
what
want to
you're
see
saying.
naked
Kind of
is
sounded
She-Hulk.
that way.
She-Hulk. You want to see now? You
And
want to see
I don't-
She-Hulk naked?
that's the only Hulk. Yeah, that's all. Wouldn't you? Wouldn't you want to see her naked?
It's getting weird.
I
I
would.
don't know.
I'm just
I
saying.
don't know. I'm unsure about that. She's very muscular and masculine in that form. Just saying. That's,
So what? So what?
all right. So
That's crazy.
yeah. So here we got some images of potentially a recasted Black Panther. What
And
y'all
he's
think
bringing
about
back
that?
the Thundercats with him with that Thundercats layer right behind him.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. I don't. I
That's
don't know where. I mean, that is
I'm just
true,
saying
but
it don't look like Wakanda.
we said the Thundercat.
Well, it looks like the Thundercats layer. Look at it.
I
It's like
mean,
you told me earlier. It's art. It does. It does. It does.
It doesn't look like
But
Wakanda.
I'll give you that. It does.
yeah, that's
But like you told me
Damon
earlier, it's just art. It's just art.
Yeah.
Damon Idris, I guess. I don't know if y'all know who that is. I guess that's who people think is gonna play this Black Panther in Doomsday or potentially Secret Wars. I don't know. Y'all don't know Damon Idris.
Nah, I mean the
It's
name
like
sounds familiar, but
that's an
I can't
actor.
place them.
I like that. I like his. Wait, what is that? A spear in his hand? A knife? I mean, a blade. It's Wakandan. It don't matter.
I kind of like the cape style the most.
I don't know. I kind of like the
Yeah.
whole masked up and
I
because
mean,
that one almost
he could still wear a
Yeah.
mask, but I like the cape because he hasn't had a cape yet.
yeah. I still think it looks better like that because I think it goes in the whole battle more motif where they're all kind of wearing more older timeline style clothes.
So this next slide,
Wait.
basically,
Wait.
it it's what? Wait, what?
Vision. Wait. I
Yeah.
was ripping off of. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Continue.
So this next slide, you got Vision and Star Lord. It looks like getting drunk together. I don't know if this is also from Doomsday or Secret Wars, or potentially from the Vision series. So maybe this might happen in between those movies, or maybe this is happening on Earth. Peter Quill was last seen on Earth with his grandfather. So
Vision's getting his own series.
yeah,
Vision's getting his own series.
yes, I also mentioned that earlier.
Yeah, Vision Quest. Remember?
Yeah, we
Wow.
talked about that already. Watch the show, Mac. You should check out Yo Hero. We talked about it earlier.
Man, that is crazy.
Yeah, definitely. It is. But yeah, I don't know, so I don't know where this is gonna fall in the timeline. If we'll even see this, but it is kind of crazy to see these two, the White Vision and Peter Quill chilling, getting drunk together. Or drinking or eating, chilling on the couch, watching TV.
Yeah.
I don't think the Vision can get drunk.
Maybe not.
Is
Yeah,
that
so
Wong? That's Wong.
Yeah, the Young
Oh, I'm
Avengers, I
sorry, I'm
think.
getting at you.
go ahead. Speak amongst
That's Star
yourselves.
Lord.
Yeah,
Star Lord, I
Star.
see. The Miss Marvel.
Yeah.
You got the Maximoff kids.
I see Hawkeye, whatever that is. Is that who that is?
Yeah, you got Hawkeye's girl, Kate Bishop.
Okay.
Yeah. Go on.
Billy and Tommy Maximoff, I believe.
Correct. It
Kamala
looks
Khan,
looks like
Goop.
you got Wiccan and Speed. Yeah. And
You
then
got
you
the
got
Goop.
and Dupe. And yeah, Dupe on the far right there, Mac. If you look, he's basically
It's Goop. Goop.
he's an X-Men character.
He's like
And
Slimer, but
I
No,
mean,
that
he's
look,
dude's
built like him.
nuts.
maybe, yeah, he's built like he might look like him, but he basically got like all kinds of crazy, multi, multiversal travel kind of powers and reality altering powers, and I think he's gonna end up being a MacGuffin if they don't take him out. Like he's gonna be a big plot line in this new movie, and
what,
yeah, I think he's
what
gonna
new
be
movie?
Frank.
Or you mean
Well, the new movie we're talking about, these leaks are from Mac. If you go back and watch the show, it's Avengers
it's called
Doomsday,
Yo Hero?
or potentially Secret Wars.
Or
So
potentially.
yes,
Right.
these are all from Secret Wars of Doomsday,
Well,
basically.
this actually might be from the Young Avengers too that they're supposed to bring out. I'm sure it ties into all of it, but
I don't think. I mean, I don't think we're gonna see that before we see these movies. They're already filming these movies. They're currently like filming Doomsday, or they're at least, if they're not filming it, they're doing principal production and doing some like final scripts on it. So I think when they're this far into the game, you got this kind of uh, artistry going on telling the story. I think they kind of have the basics of the story figured out. They just got to figure out the words, the dialogue, the script. You know, they got the premises. They're going, oh, this is how we're going to get from point A to point B, and this is what point B is going to be. This is what point A is. Now we just have to figure out how to weave the characters we have into that storyline. And I think that Dupe character on the far right, that X-Men character,
Goop.
right? It's Dupe,
It's Goop.
and anyhow, I think he's going to be a big part of how they get their goals accomplished. I could be wrong.
He looks like a testicle about the face. I don't like it.
All right then. He doesn't like that.
He likes naked green guys now, so he would know.
Oh my God.
With that said, let's get to our Daredevil Born Again review. See how y'all feel about that. What did y'all think about the Daredevil review? Or what did y'all think about the Daredevil return? Daredevil reborn, born again. How did it feel to see everyone come back? Actually, let's start out at the very beginning. Let's kind of like break down how the show. Yeah, let's break down kind of how the show started out, because I was super hyped to see them all return. So the show starts out, with the new intro, and then we got the main core cast reuniting: Nelson, Murdoch, and Paige, and they're just chilling in the bar, right? And then all of a sudden, now Foggy goes outside, takes a phone call, and yeah, we're getting into full spoilers here, y'all. So if you didn't watch it, you could pause the show, come back.
You don't gotta break it down scene by scene.
I'm not breaking it down scene by scene, but anyhow, so he goes out, and next thing he's on the phone and something's going down and things kind of go left, and in enters Bullseye, right? So like he gets this weird phone call. The guy
just said, I was wondering, like the way, wasn't it different how he was listening in on Nelson's phone conversation? Like that was different from what it was on the Netflix series, like how he was listening and stuff like that. Like,
yeah,
I don't know.
the way they showcased his power is just totally different on the show. Yeah, and I like it.
Yeah, I did too. I just want.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to cut you off, but that's.
That was actually when they were in the bar. That was the first time you kind of see that shot where it kind of goes all crazy. The sound effects get crazy, and then it like hyper focuses his sound. You could tell like his hearing's hyper focusing on Foggy's phone call outside the bar. And then, like
Yeah.
I said, things go left, and then the guy on the phone ends up giving up the info, and here in enters Bullseye, and he just immediately, like, this is the first 5 minutes of this new entry to the show, and he immediately
Yeah.
pops Foggy Nelson right in the chest. Like, were y'all expecting that?
I wasn't
Fuck no,
expecting
I
it
was
to
not
hop
expecting that.
off quick. I wasn't expecting him to jump into the action so quick, but from like the kind of rumors you got from it, it seems like they were going to try to keep kind of some of that same feel. I mean, I don't think it was as gritty as maybe the Netflix series so much, but I mean, they had a decent flow to it where they made it kind of as brutal in a lot of aspects.
Yeah, I didn't want you to review the whole series. Just kind of like, I'm just talking about, did y'all expect Foggy Nelson to get shot in the first 5 minutes of this first episode?
I said no.
No, I
Mac,
did not. No, I did not. I was very
yeah,
highly disappointed. I was highly
yeah,
disappointed that he got killed in the first, I don't know, fucking 10 minutes of the show. I was highly disappointed.
yeah, because like, to me, like, all the hype up to this, leading up to this, was like the reunion of the cast, and they're bringing back the whole Netflix
Yeah.
cast.
The gang was getting back together. The band was getting back together. And what did they do? They whacked one immediately, which was trash.
Yeah, but it shows you the stakes, right? And it shows you what Disney's willing to do, low key. Which, like, to me, I was like, okay, there's this shit is already 5 minutes in. I'm like, I'm just shocked. And
Right.
then the whole battle sequence happens with him and Bullseye,
Which
all
was
the way up to
crazy.
the all the way up to the roof. And that battle was crazy, bro. He's throwing knives in him left and right, like they're going through his protective armor.
And he killed 11 people. Let's not forget. He was killing random innocent bystanders, throwing knives at people like, oh, you can catch one and you take one, and here's one
Yeah,
for you.
yeah. He just
That
like
was crazy.
killed a bitch with a pool ball for no reason, just because she was there. Like he was going nuts, but Daredevil's blocking some of his knives, whatever. They fight their way up to the roof, and then all the way to the heartbeat of Foggy, like being like the rhythm, the pacing to this fight, and then boom, like Daredevil, Foggy dies and Daredevil just dumps him off the roof.
Which I thought Bullseye was dead, and for him to survive that, I was like, what the fuck?
You mean
I did not expect him to just, after he threw him off the roof, bro. Like,
well,
I
he
didn't
got
think
it.
I didn't think he was going to survive.
In the comics, his spine's made of adamantium, but in the Netflix series, they didn't have the rights to
No,
that yet. So, you know,
right.
what they did was they made it some crazy strong, titanium or something in his spine. So that's probably the only reason he survived that fall. But it still looked like he fell right on his face.
Yeah, because it sounded like it was like a pancake you was flipping, and when he was trying to, like, when he opened his eyes and was trying to get up, it sounded sticky. Like his shit splattered on
Oh
him.
yeah.
But so I was like, what?
Oh yeah, yeah. I thought he was dead for sure. And then when he didn't die, I felt so bad for Matt because I'm like, bro, like he did everything to stop this dude and couldn't stop him. And then went as far as wanting to kill him and didn't kill him.
Right.
So then they fast forward 1 year later, right? And you get this like Matt Murdock, this whole and before we finish that, did you want to sing Gangsta Lean one time for my man Foggy Nelson?
No.
No, you're good. All right.
Mm-mm.
I thought
No.
this song's dedicated
That was crazy, man. That
What
was
up? What
crazy.
up? What up? Yeah, and so yeah, so you get this basically Fisk rises to power, Fisk make what up, chaotic, what up. Appreciate you, bro. Just covering some different stuff, homie. But yeah, thanks for hopping in the chat. Yeah, Fisk kind of gets his rise to power, right? And he makes this whole role switch where he don't want to be the kingpin of crime no more. He wants to be the mayor of New York, and we kind of seen him you know, his whole journey, and him transition pause into wanting to be a mayor. And then you see Matt coming to grips with that, and then you see him just flat out have to approach Fisk face to face and be like, we should talk, basically, which is kind of crazy to me. And then they had to sit down at the diner. What y'all think of this chat they had?
I wasn't buying this being like turn over a new leaf, of course. You know what I'm saying? Just because it's the kingpin. You can't trust him. He's a crook. He's a criminal. He's a thug. Ain't that what he told him? You're a thug.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know. It was cool
That's
though
what
to watch him have it sit down. It was cool
that's what
to watch to sit down, have that conversation.
yeah, that's what the one cop called him. He said, "You're a thug. Once a thug, always a thug." Fist. Yeah, I like this little sit down, because if you notice, they started off on kind of a friendly exchange, complimenting each other on their personal growth, and then by the end of it, they were threatening each other.
Yeah.
That they were.
All right.
Bird, you don't have nothing to say about that?
No, I mean,
It's like,
what were you going to expect? They weren't just going to go at out in the open. He's already the mayor, so I think he wanted to let him know. And you got to think too that I mean, kind of Echo fucked up his brain a little bit. The Kingpin or whatever made him kind of relive some of his past
Oh,
stuff,
yeah.
to get over the trauma and stuff. So, like
I'm glad
in
you.
that instance, I think somewhere like for a while, at least in the beginning, is like he wants to change, but he has other things going on where like he's also thinking like he wants his woman back and she's kind of in charge of all the underworld shit now. So
yeah,
I think that he's kind of conflicted where, and I don't know if maybe if Matt even showing himself kind of brought some memories back to like, oh, all right, it's going to be like that, like because he already felt like he was watching him and keeping an eye on him and stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. What y'all think of the white tiger that came into the series?
Oh, White Tiger. I mean, it was he was one of those
They really,
Kung Lao guys or whatever, I think. So yeah, I
like
mean
from
it's comic accurate. I mean, as far as that.
you said from Iron Fist guy?
Yeah, yeah, he's from that area or from Kung Lao itself. I don't quite remember, but I know back
Uh,
in the day he was like one of those type characters,
uh,
street level type things. Had
Yeah,
the
well,
amulet.
I
okay.
guess I guess the actor who plays him passed away, and that's why they have that in memory of at the beginning.
Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. I was
Yeah,
wondering, like, how are they going to be able to keep him? Or
I I
or
think
maybe
he
well,
probably
maybe he made
survived
it
through
through.
the he probably survived through the end of the series, but he probably if they didn't wrap up his story arc, who knows?
Well, he
And then
did die in the comics.
okay,
Oh, that's nice, Bird. Oh,
I
because he
don't
Well,
see
died
how
in the
I,
comics. The actor had to die in real life.
like
It's
I
nice,
don't see how
Bird.
that's relevant at all.
well, I
But
mean, if
all
they
right.
need to write him out of the story or whatever, I'm just saying. Like, I mean,
My point is like I don't know.
Oh, well, you pretty
I
much
don't.
You pretty much just did write them out.
Yeah, you definitely wrote him off. I don't know that they finished his story arc in the series yet. To just
Yeah.
go, well, he died in the comics, so I I seen how somebody
No.
I seen
Oh,
how
go ahead. Go ahead,
somebody
Six.
somebody online was just saying it's ironic that these Marvel cat-based characters pass away, like Black
Yeah.
Panther and the White Tiger.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, that is scary. And somebody was like, whoever played Black Cat better watch out. I was like, damn.
Hey, I don't know why that was funny, but it was, that's, I was thinking that. That's probably why I was laughing, because I was like, I don't want to play no. I don't know. I'd have to see a check first, but I probably would. See, that's messed up, man.
Yeah, and then Karen Page
Like, we're
leaves
never gonna have
too.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if like the actors like themselves didn't really want to return for like the next 3 seasons, 5 seasons, whatever Disney plans to do with Daredevil. And they were like, well, hey,
Yeah.
we'll come back, but we'll just come back to wrap things up.
Yeah.
And that's what it
Yeah,
feels
because
like.
pretty much everyone else besides Fist, Vanessa, and Daredevil are like, and Paige and Foggy are all the only ones really left from the Netflix series on the show, really.
Well, we'll get
If you think
more.
about it.
We know Punisher is going to show up.
Yeah.
And like the likelihood of Luke Cage and all them returning Jessica Jones is very high, I think. I think because all they're considering all the Netflix stuff canon now. So it's it has always been and is part of the MCU. And actually, I want to go back to something you said, Unc, about Kingpin, being like damaged from the Echo series. I was glad they even brought up the Echo series in this. Matt telling Kingpin, or Kingpin saying he tried to mentor somebody, and then Matt saying, yeah, and she shot you, didn't she, or whatever he said. You know,
Yeah.
it, I was glad they even addressed it, because I've seen in interviews the actors kind of shy away from the She-Hulk iteration of Daredevil, and Kingpin on Echo kind of say, well, that's a different take, and we work for Disney and Marvel, so when they ask us to do our best, we do our best with what they give us, but they said they really wanted this series, the Daredevil series, to be more like, rooted in its or, more true to its roots, and more like the Netflix series. So it'll be less like Daredevil and She-Hulk, less like Kingpin and Echo. But like I said, I was just surprised they even addressed the Echo series, and I'm glad they did. And if you look, Kingpin even has a scar by his eye, so it's kind of cool.
Okay. I wanted more action though, man. I wanted more fighting and shit. But I know they got to build up to that. But I was just like, this is like giving me PTSD about like, why was they going on and on about like relationships and feelings and love, and like it was just, I don't know, it was just too much of that for me personally.
Uh,
I wanted to see ass kicking and fighting. Like it was cool to see, like when he was fighting the cops in the subway. That was kind of fucked up. But I'm jumping ahead of myself. Continue.
no, go ahead. No, I think
Like
the
and
first.
like
I think the first episode had a decent amount of action. I think the second one slowed down a little bit, but we got the whole rest of the season. I think like 6 more episodes kind of to go, and they're already filming season 2 like right now. So we're gonna get a lot more of this. And like one of my favorite parts about Daredevil, I like more than most people like Batman. And I like Daredevil because he's literally like a disabled superhero. Like he's against the odds, but he defies the odds. He's a man with no fear. Like, and I kind of like the fact that he just gets out there, gets his ass handed to him, but keeps on fighting, and yeah, I think we get a lot of that in the first episode, but then the second episode, the other thing I like about Daredevil is the fact he's a lawyer, and you get some real good courtroom drama in this series. I feel like so far,
Yeah,
and you need that to balance it out.
yeah.
It can't all be these flippy, kicky, throwing knife fight scenes with Bullseye. I,
He
I,
said
I mean,
flippy kicky, flippy kicky.
yeah, I mean, so. And that was cool for what it was. And another thing I liked about this series, was like you got to see more of Daredevil using his Billy Club like he does in the comics than you did on a Netflix show. Like
Yeah,
he does more almost
yeah,
like web swinging kind of stuff like Spidey does.
yeah. But he actually used that Billy Club to swing in the comics too, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, that's
What do you think? Yeah, how do you think he got up on the roof in the beginning? He used that to get up there, and he was going across the rooftops.
yeah, that's what
Yeah,
I'm getting at. Like I like that Disney is using that side of him a little bit more, but also keeping it super violent.
He's bouncing that thing off the walls.
Yeah, so and then you got Fisk basically in the mayor's office, starting to threaten people already, showing pictures of people's kids it looked like.
Well, yeah, well, it looked like
yeah. And
illegitimate
it
kid
was
though,
illegitimate.
because
Yeah,
I
that
don't
was
think
the
like this
illegitimate
dude
kid
he
too. It
just
wasn't even like it wasn't even the commissioner's wife, like a kid he had with his wife. It was like his mistress,
yeah.
and he didn't
I
want
think
to
that's what
keep
he was
it. What a
implying
real
at like.
scumbag!
Okay, I didn't pick up on that. Y'all picked up on that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, that's
yeah.
what it seemed like. Like, hey, I know that you got this kid out of wedlock that you're
No, they
hiding over
actually
here in
said that, Bird.
Philadelphia.
They actually did say that in the actual episode. Like that was the commissioner's like mistress. It was like he he had a child out of wedlock. Yeah, and he didn't want to keep it. They actually said that in
You're
the
allowed to
episode.
say he was fucking a bitch on the side, Mac. You're allowed to say that. It's uncensored over here.
Yeah, yeah, I know. I'm just saying.
We just
He
try to
was
be nice to all people.
he definitely said that. They definitely said that though in the episode.
Okay, yeah, that's what's up. Yeah, there was a lot to pick up on. There was a lot going on. A dynamic shift between Vanessa and Kingpin has switched a little bit. Uh,
Right.
the White Tiger storyline, the stuff going on with Foggy passing, Karen leaving. There's a lot in them 2 episodes to kind of I think they're just getting us used to the world moving forward. It
Yeah.
is connected to the Netflix universe, but I don't think they had any long-term plans for the entire cast.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. Because it's been what, 10 plus years. Like, damn, they couldn't keep like
Spider-Man was mentioned in the cafe by Daredevil. That's right. Yeah, they mentioned Spider-Man
yeah,
in this episode.
Well, Kingpin actually
yeah,
mentioned
he
we don't
did.
need a guy with a skull on his chest or a spider.
Do we think we might see Spider-Man in this series? I don't think
Probably not.
so because of
No,
Sony, but I
you
I
might get
think
some other low-level guys.
yeah, I think we'll see other characters, but not Spider-Man. I think right there is the most you're going to get is like mentions. Marvel's kind of got a rule of there's very very rare people break this, but they have like a you know TV people don't make it into the movies often. Like
Yeah.
Daredevil's probably the rare occurrence of that. So no, I don't think we'll see Spider-Man, unfortunately. But yeah, so Matt's got his whole new law firm. They got Ben Urich's daughter, you
BB.
know, Yeah, BB, Ben Urich's daughter, Ben Urich, the reporter who got killed, I think in season 1 of Daredevil or season 2. But his daughter, I assume, and she kind of knows what's up and what's going on. She's got her ear to the streets,
Yep.
and I think she's going to be a problem. She might be the one that makes Fisk go. I don't know, but then Fisk's little punk ass dude is the dude that brought her in. I
Kind of
think
the
that
tech. He seemed like more the tech social media guy.
yeah, I think he might be the one to make Fisk go crazy too, and might make Fisk. He might just end up in Fisk Trump one night.
Yeah, yeah, but you see, old boy was like did that little whatever or signed the papers for Fisk's little, like, I guess his second in command is, Daredevil's girl's gonna be fucking counseling him and Vanessa.
Yeah, that's
And he kissed
crazy
her
too,
mouth,
right?
so I'm so
Yeah. Do you
yeah,
think
like
that's
when
planned?
he was like in the apartment before.
I mean, do you
Do I think
think
what's
like
planned?
Kingpin's? I mean, Kingpin's got to know who she is, and being with Matt, it just seems like too much of a coincidence that he went to her.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
that's
I think that was
weird.
more for him trying to fix his relationship with Vanessa though, because like Vanessa
Yeah,
Yeah,
really don't
but
want to
like,
fuck with
yeah,
him
but
right now.
you're in New York. I mean, you're gonna go to that lady. Like, I mean, I know she's like a big kind of shrink, I guess, with whatever book she had out that she was kind of doing. I think
Oh yeah,
in the
what
one
about that
scene,
creepy
but
fucker that was like so happy she signed the book for him before like the other dude that
oh,
works for Fisk
oh,
his book signing?
you don't know who? I think I know who that is.
I think I do too. Do you want to guess?
Uh, I'll guess with Muse.
Yeah, I think it's Muse also, who's like one of Daredevil's more recent, bigger villains, and I think he's also the one that was painting that Fisk mural,
Oh yeah.
Uh-huh.
and he paints with his victim's blood, basically.
Well, he's also set him up in like a scene, you know what I mean? Where I mean, I think he had a warehouse in the one comic where it was like he set up a whole scene with dead dudes that were there for a while. And actually, I think he had people hanging up, and some of them were still living, but he was still using their blood to paint stuff too.
Yeah, he's
So
like
that's
a
who you,
twist.
so that's who y'all think the creepy dude was that was like all geeked up that she signed his book.
Yeah, I think
Yep.
that's Muse, which is basically he's like a Bob Ross meets Jeffrey Dahmer.
Yeah, but I think he started off, I think, as an Inhuman.
I
I
don't.
think when the Terrigen Mist was going around and stuff like that, and they had all those Inhumans and stuff.
Are you
But
sure
because
about that?
I think that's originally what happened, but I think that it kind of became ambiguous where it wasn't like they wanted to, I don't know, I'm trying to think where I've seen it at. But anyways, yeah, I think he started off as going to be an Inhuman because they were real big at that point. But I think they just kind of made it like a mystery because he's such a weirdo.
Where yeah, I don't know. It's hard to tell. But
I could change it anyways. I mean, obviously, but
yeah,
I'm
I
pretty
think
sure the original.
they're gonna go with a more grounded kind of serial killer vibe. I think on this show, and I don't know how that skinny little punk's gonna fight Daredevil, to be honest. But we'll see.
He is a skinny little punk.
Yeah, I don't think he's got no scraps in him. Like I don't think he
Well, I
wanna.
don't even know if he has any powers really. I thought he might have, but like I said, I mean, I kind of came
Yeah,
across
he's
it,
got
and
I'm cuckoo for cocoa puff powers. Looking at that motherfucker, he's
I know in the comic he had some
off
messed up
his
looking
hooker.
eyes, where that's where like yeah, he had some weird looking eyes in the comics, but that's about all I remember.
Yeah, I mean, they show him in the trailers. You seen him in the trailer, Mac?
I didn't see him in the trailer.
Mm.
Or maybe I did. I just was extra goobered and wasn't paying attention. Goobered, sir. I was probably goobered.
Yeah, I'm trying to see. Oh my god, bro, this show is so good. I'm not gonna cap.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. But now, from this point out, though, they're only doing one episode every Tuesday, right?
Yeah, I think we're just getting one episode a week.
I think that's pretty cool and different.
Yeah, I think the it's just gonna get better. I think these were really like introducing us to the new world kind of episodes and giving us some stakes. But you got Punisher coming back to the show. Like, looks like Kingpin's about to go off the hinges. You know, he's full time back as Daredevil. So yeah, this isn't the one that shows Muse, but
Yeah, I'm just kind of I was gonna say something, but I lost my train of thought there for a minute while I was still playing.
yeah,
I mean, what they're gonna do with exactly with Muse and how he's gonna actually play into it. Like, is he the one who actually brings Daredevil back? I mean,
I
because in the comics, I think he pulled out the eyes of Blind Spot, which was like Daredevil's sidekick for a while or something like that. And obviously, he's not in the show. So is he gonna? I mean, they're gonna get rid of Karen next,
yeah, that'd be crazy.
or even his partner? I mean, his legal partner was the lawyer that was talking to Froggy that night. He got killed.
Yeah,
H. Oh, you mean
Oh, Karen Page. Well, I said the first time Karen Page. The other one's
this young lady right here.
yeah,
you're talking
yeah.
about
The ex prosecuting lawyer.
Well, I was about to say, how does the yeah.
What?
But I guess because Froggy got killed, is that why that cop didn't end up with? Because you remember in the bar when they were in the bar talking, he was supposed to be retiring, and then like that happened, and he seemed like Murdoch
Well, he
was
did
Daredevil,
retire.
so that
He
kind
did
of like,
retire, and
or
and
is
he
he?
works as like a detective for Matt because he found out Matt was a Daredevil up there. So
Oh,
obviously he took
right.
some kind of personal stuff to it. Like, well, I know
You
who this
see,
dude is, and I can help.
he found a boy's suit under his bed, which his wife was being like a prick too. You know what I'm saying? Because she has an attitude with her dude. Like it was just too much of that. Like Vanessa's mad at this, and then old girl's mad at her husband, who's fucking
White
White
Tiger.
Claw, whatever his name is. She's mad at him, White Tiger. Like it was just too much of that for me. That's the only part I was like, that y'all like are way going overboard with these relationships. But I understand. I guess that's part of the dynamic of the Daredevil universe. I guess I don't know.
I only remember seeing her for like a minute when they were arguing, and then the
It was
cop
just
went in her back room and then found the fucking shit. But it didn't bother me. It was just like she didn't want to give up no info on him because she knows he's the White Tiger, I think, and she don't appreciate the fact that he's out there doing that shit. So I think to me, I liked it because it was like a reflection of Matt in a way. Like if Matt had a family, that's what he'd probably be dealing with. But Matt doesn't have a family,
yeah.
so he could still suit up and go do his ones and twos, and it doesn't affect his wife and his kids. But this guy is coming home beaten, hurt, and messed up, and his wife just couldn't take it no more. And I think
So that
she
amulet really ain't worth the piss, huh?
I guess so.
Well, you know what I mean. They did say, like, I don't know if his origin's the same, the White Tiger, but they did say like he was a vet, so maybe he came back with some PTSD and was kind of off, and then he found this is the
Oh
release. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? So I'm
yeah,
thinking she's all
yeah. That's
upset
true. They
because
did
oh
mention
now
that
you ain't.
they did they
So
did
I'm
mention
thinking
that
what.
he had PTSD, but yeah, maybe he was coming home like getting liquored up, smacking her around a little bit, maybe
No,
because of that, or just like yelling at her real bad,
I think
like
it's the other
"bitch, I
way
said I
around.
wanted my egg scrambled." Yeah, because she's mean.
Extra crispy bacon.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
I think it
Like,
was the fact that he was going out
I
endangering
don't
his
know.
life or whatever and ignoring her because he was so obsessed because he said, well, because he kind of said, well, Daredevil's not around anymore. What, what else? Someone had to do something.
Son,
Yeah,
don't make me break
yeah,
Ben
that's true. He
Affleck
did that.
out. Ben Affleck out on you bitches. Son,
That is so crazy. But that's what
you
I'm
know.
saying. Like, it was like, that's what I'm saying. It's like, and that's why I said it's going. I know, like, his relationship with that psychiatrist is going to be like that's tangled up into Fisk and
Oh yeah, that's about to get ugly. You
his
already know.
partner.
And everybody keep
Yeah, like,
mentioning Vanessa, and
like
then his fingers start going crazy, and I'm like, oh, he about to snap any minute now.
yeah,
I can see it. I
yeah,
can see it.
yeah.
All right, so Unc, what you think of the first two
Oh, he's definitely.
episodes? You like the first two episodes, Unc? Do you like them or do you not
Um,
like them?
I mean, I would say that they're probably about like in the 70% range on the whole thing. I like the darker feel of kind of the original one, and they it's just they kind of lightened it up. Um, like in the beginning sequence with the bullseye fight, it seemed very little too much CGI-ish the way he was moving and stuff, or maybe it was just maybe the background or something. Um, After the couple fight scenes, it was kind of slow, but I kind of expected to. I think we're going to get a little bit more lawyering out of it, you know. Um, but I thought it was all right. I mean, it wasn't like they totally threw the baby out with the bathwater or anything. I think they kind of kept everything just kind of right there on the edge in between what Marvel's kind of been doing and what Netflix did. So they're trying to balance it both out a little bit.
So
I
did
think
you like it or
I,
not?
s- I said I said for the most part I did.
So 70%, that's pretty much
Yeah,
liking it. That's more than disliking it.
yeah.
Mac, how you feel about it?
I give it about a 85. Like I said, I liked it 85%. It was just too much on the whole relationships. I don't know. That just was like I don't want to. The lawyering part is cool, like I said, and I like the fact that how he fucked them cops up when they came to jump on that the only witness for White Tiger. How he fucked them up, but they left him no choice when they dude put the gun. He knew dude was aiming the gun at his face. He didn't have a
Oh
choice,
yeah.
but he fucked them up, man. He fucked them
Well, he
up.
heard that hammer cock back, and he's like, "Don't do it."
Yeah. So I don't know. It's like I don't know. It's kind of weird though the fact that he don't want to be Daredevil right now. He just wants to be Matt Murdock and the lawyer. You
Well,
know what
you
I'm
know
saying?
why
Like I
that
said,
is, Matt.
I think that's
it was
just
just
part
so
of
much.
that.
I liked it
That
for the most part.
I think that's just part of kind of the story arc right now. I think it's inevitable he's gonna get back into it.
Yeah.
We've already seen him in action in the suit
Oh yeah,
now.
he ain't got a choice but to be Daredevil.
And he got all his masks lined
Yeah.
up, in the trailer. So
Yeah, but you know why the reason he did that, Mac, was because he came too close to
I
actually
wonder.
killing somebody, and he's got
well,
that anti-kill thing with him.
that, and he told Fisk a line was crossed, and I think Foggy dying was a big part of that. You
Well,
know,
no, it was his reaction to Foggy dying, killing the
yeah,
guy out of that moment.
true. I mean that too,
He
but
crossed his own line because you got to think of his Catholic religion upbringing and how he
but
feels about that.
I'm glad you brought that up because he said he was brought up to believe in like that, but he was also brought up to believe in what like repercussions or something, whatever he
Yeah.
said
Well,
type
yeah,
deal.
but it's not eye for an eye type thing either, though.
Well, he
He's
said he was brought up like that by like his boxing father is what he was kind of saying, but then he had his father in church who brought him up a different way. So he kind of has a little bit of both. You know, he's got that you know, I think Jack Murdoch's his dad's name in him, and then he's kind of got, you know, God side, and he's always got that Catholicism kind of aspect of him. But for me personally, I love the first two episodes. I had really zero complaints. There was some, I think, tonalistic differences between the Netflix series and the Disney series, but not so far off that it felt foreign to the Netflix series. And I think what you're seeing there and what you're feeling there, that tonal difference that you kind of mentioned, or I kind of put it in that them words, but I think I thought you expressed that pause, you know, that I think because when they started the series, they did the whole series, bro. They turned it into Marvel. They turned it into Kevin Feige, and they said, no, pump the brakes. That ain't it. That's not our Daredevil. We need that to be more like Netflix because it was way too Disney, way too Marvel. It was more She-Hulk, Daredevil-ish, and I think what you feel is a little bit of that in there because I think they still use some of the stuff they shot for that. But I think by them they actually went back and reshot the whole series, or at least built upon what they thought was good, and they did a lot of reshoots on this. And I think me personally, I love the first two episodes. I will agree with you that that first battle with Bullseye it like you said, it almost feels CGI. There's too much mist going on because of an explosion or whatever the case.
And then
And
on top of that, like, how is he taking all them knives and not like fall? Like, I
he
mean,
has
like,
he
I don't know.
has
He took a lot of
armor.
knives in the
Yeah,
suit.
yeah.
He's
The
got
armor stopped the penetration going too far.
Yeah,
yeah, he's got armor. The knives didn't puncture him all
no,
fully. He probably felt some of it, but it didn't go
yeah,
all the way through him like it would without a
yeah.
vest.
He did block quite a few of them too. One or two would hit.
Oh
He'd
yeah, he
block
was.
one or two. You
Yeah,
know.
he blocked a
Yeah,
lot of them, but he was still taking them, trying to defend the
yeah,
innocents. And yeah,
yeah.
so that fight, I will agree. Like it got a little. I think it was more so, and maybe it wasn't a digital smoke effect that they threw on top of maybe a practical one to make it a little bit more.
Well, no, he did throw the smoke grenade in there, so you're gonna
Yes,
have that effect. But no,
right.
I wasn't actually talking about the fight scene so much. I'm just talking about when he was taken to the rooftops the first time, and he was going up. Some of just the body movements look really just like I don't
I
know.
was
Like I said, it was like
I was cool with that. I was cool with all that. So. But no, you mentioned the CGI looking fight thing,
yeah.
and I think it was less CGI and more just I think it was CGI smoke over practical shots to maybe hide some imperfections or cut cut scenes between action scenes and to blend green screens of different shots of innocents getting hit by bullseye. I think those were multiple takes that they made look like a single take with that smoke effect that gives you that CGI thing. You kind of called it, but I think it was just digital smoke, CGI still, but it was all practical shots. I like that. I think it wasn't Disneyfied in the sense like it was brutal, bro. It was violent. they were snapping people's bones backwards, and Foggy died in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah,
Daredevil throwing a dude off the roof of the
yeah,
building. Like it got, and when he slammed that cop on his head at the end, like it was brutal, So I don't feel like it's in between
yeah.
what Disney and Netflix necessarily was
Or like
doing,
when the white tiger threw that dude in front of the train. When he threw that
right?
guy in front of that moving train and killed him.
Yeah,
Like
it's
that was
very.
fucking crazy. He had his blood all on his face.
I feel like it's more violent than anything Disney's done outside, except for
Yeah,
Deadpool and Wolverine. Deadpool and Wolverine kind of might have been the turning point for this kind of violence, but I liked it. I'm not saying it was perfect.
yeah,
I think it had some slow parts, but I'm looking at it as an overall
yeah,
picture. I imagine by the end of the series, I'll have enjoyed all the slow parts along with the action scenes, along with you gotta have that, bro. You gotta have that kind of story
yeah,
arc. It makes and then there's some people coming into this that didn't watch the Netflix series that maybe they need that an entry point for them to get familiar with Vanessa and Fisk and so on and so forth.
yeah,
So I'm
yeah,
not saying it was perfect. You gave it like a 8.5 out of 10. Sound like Bird gave it a 7.5 out of 10 about. I'd probably give it
yeah,
the first two episodes maybe a solid 9. I only reason I say that is I loved it. I love Daredevil as a character, and I do think they did a good job, and I'm excited to watch the rest of the series. So far, so good in my opinion, and yeah, I'm excited to have Daredevil back, and he's in the MCU. Like
yeah,
I'm pumped. Like this they started this journey 10 years ago. So for these actors to even come back, like it's a big deal to me personally, as a fan of the old Netflix series, and
yeah,
I'm just glad Disney. They could have Disneyfied it, and they could have said went with the first shooting of this season, and but I'm glad they said no, pump the brakes. Let's do this right. Let's do this. This cast justice. And I'm excited to see what the future holds for Daredevil. Yeah. So I think it was dope.
yeah.
We'll see what the
Like
next
I
one
said, I
looks
didn't
like.
hate it.
I didn't say you hate it. 7.5 is pretty good. For Unc, 8.5 for Max, pretty good. I think it was about a 9, about a point
Yeah,
0.5 higher than Mac. But yeah, so I guess we're gonna wait till the next episode, and then we'll probably talk about that. Or if something else come out,
yeah,
we'll be back to talk about that.
Talk about it all.
yeah.
Yeah, because we gonna be doing a show for the Fantastic Four when that come out in July, and we probably gonna do a show for the Thunderbolts pretty soon here.
Yeah, May I think is Thunderbolts.
Yeah, so
Or
we
May.
got
Definitely got
time.
May.
Yeah, yeah, we
Oh,
got
we need
time.
to do a show for when you guys finally see Brave New World, because I want to talk about. I can't wait to talk about that.
Yeah, I need to still check that out. I was supposed to see it with my son, so whenever he get free time from work, I'll probably go see it. Yeah, I'm hyped. I'm
Sounds good.
hyped. I'm hyped for Secret Wars. I'm hyped for all this stuff, but
'Cause I
I'm,
just
I'm
want to hear
hoping.
y'all opinion.
Yeah, I'm hoping Daredevil will make it into Secret Wars.
Yeah,
I mean, he's a
Yeah.
street level character,
I
you know
would.
what I mean? But I'd like to see him at least get a cameo.
Yeah. So what? So you mean like street level characters? You mean like people that ain't got like powers and shit?
Well,
Uh,
Luke Cage has powers, but he's
no,
street
he just
level.
he fights criminals. He fights mobsters, and
Yeah,
you
he's
know,
not
and
going against Thanos. He's not going against Ultron or nothing like
yeah,
that.
he fights ninjas and gangs and assassins, but he doesn't go
Yeah.
after that space villains normally. So I would like
Yeah.
to see.
Well,
I
but
would
you
like to
can
see him get
say
a cameo.
he do have super abilities. Well, not super abilities, but you know what I'm saying. He got
Yeah,
Yeah.
abilities. Bird said he ain't got
Oh yeah,
no.
yeah. I mean, he can
He has
fight, but I
powers.
mean, but
he
I
could
mean, you
be.
got
He could be useful, but he's very mortal.
Yeah.
Thank you, Penny K. Appreciate it. Yeah, so y'all got anything y'all want to say to the people watching, man? Everybody that joined us, man.
I'll see you on the next one. So
Thanks
I
for
gotta
watching.
say.
See you next week.
Yeah, we appreciate you. I don't know if we're gonna do one next week. Hopefully, if the next, if I guess if the next episode come out, y'all want to sit down and talk about it.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll do one. We'll do another episode for sure. You trying to do that, Mac?
It's every Tuesday. Yeah, it's every Tuesday. A new episode comes on.
All right, that's
All
what's
right.
up. That's what's up. Then
They're
we back
done.
next week.
Until they're
We
done.
back next week on Yo Hero.
Yeah.
That's what's up. All right, y'all. Thanks for checking out the stream. My co-host, hold on. I'm gonna holler at y'all backstage, and everybody come check out Yo Hero. We'll be back every time they do a new Daredevil show or episode for sure. And then we're gonna do some Marvel reviews for these movies. We might even do some some different kind of content, some out theater reactions, different stuff. So come check us out on Yo Hero.